Hi, I'm Mash Bonigala. In today's video, it's almost like a throwback. I want to present a webinar that I did ages ago. It was in 2019, and it was a part of an exclusive kind of campaign that I had, and I've now decided to just open it up and put it out in the public. This is a webinar where I talk about building a $1 million brand. In fact, it is based on the story of Spellbrand, the branding agency that I co-founded, and I still, run that company with my team. It is the story where Spellbrand reached its peak in terms of being one of the leading online digital branding agencies, and then in 2012, it sort of crashed down because of the recession. And then from there, I brought it back to become a $1 million agency by 2016 and 2017, so on and so forth. So this has a bunch of really great ideas, strategies on how to take a company from zero to $1 million. I hope you enjoyed some of the references and some of the screenshots when you see when I talk about the revenue. When I show you the revenue of the company, you'll be seeing the dates as 2019. And so that's why I wanted to tell you this before you watch that and get confused. Hopefully you'll like this video. It's rather long, but it's got a great depth of information. If you have any questions about it, just leave a comment below and I will try and answer them for you. All right, enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome to this webinar. This is about how to build a $1 million brand through strategy. Now, for the first time, I reveal 3 secrets that enabled me to turn my design firm into a $1 million branding agency, and without any kind of outside investment. Now, over the years, this story has been in the works for a number of years. My story. It began in 1998, and then I built a small design firm, which was almost wiped out by Google. And in 2012, 2013, towards 2013, I started rebuilding. And by 2016, we had hit our first $1 million. So this story has been in the making for three years now. And I wanted to share this and also reveal the kind of strategies that helped me take my business from almost bankruptcy to $1 million, and how you can do it too. So let me start off by saying that by taking the time to attend this webinar, you're taking the biggest step for your business, taking it to the next level and changing your life forever. So is the title of this webinar a tall claim? I mean, does it seem far-fetched that anyone can build a $1 million brand in any given market segment? Is it possible? And the answer is a big yes. Yes, it is possible. Now, in this webinar, I share 3 secrets that enabled me to help brands dominate their markets, and also to show you how you can do it too. This is the same kind of strategy that I used to rebuild my company. And since then, I've been using it with my team, of course, to help our clients do the same. If you're a struggling business owner, or even if you're running a successful business, but always looking for the next customer or project, and want to create a business that gets high quality and high ticket clients on the tap, then this webinar will show you that it is possible and how to do it. Okay, so first, let's look briefly at how this webinar is laid out. And so I'll start with defining what a brand is, or a blue ocean brand is, and how most businesses do not have brands. I will share with you the 3 mistakes that most business owners make. Then I will share with you the 3 secrets or strategies that enable me to take my agency from 0 to $1 million, and also the same for a ton of our clients. And the strategies that I employed to increase the revenue to $1 million. I will also share with you screenshots of our accounting software, so you can see the actual revenue and the like. And finally, how you too can, go from 0 to 1 million with your business. Let's first look at the top 3 mistakes that businesses make, which undermine their success and their potential to dominate their market segment. Mistake number 1, putting all your eggs in one basket. Now, the biggest mistake a lot of the businesses make is to depend on Google for all their organic traffic and sales. Now, all they do is focus on their Google rankings and traffic. They implement, whatever kind of hot SEO strategy is making rounds at that time, and not investing in any kind of social media marketing. Now, Google is ever evolving, and its algorithms change frequently, causing wild fluctuations in ranking and traffic. And most people think that paid advertising is useless and a waste of time, or they don't have any budget for paid advertising. And it is funny, how a lot of businesses spend a lot of money on their office parties and print promotions, that do not guarantee any returns, or a super fancy website and all that. Well, it might not be you, but there are a lot of businesses out there that have money for such things, but not for developing their business, promoting their business, or taking it to the next level. And, that could be one of the main reasons, but I digress. So these are the kind of putting eggs in one basket kind of scenario. Mistake number 2 is building a business instead of building a brand. Okay, that's a very important one. 95% of businesses still do that. They spend their time building a business and not enough time building a brand. So what does that mean, not building a brand? Most businesses do not have a brand. They have a business that's at the mercy of, let's say, Google, or one single platform that they depend on. They might just simply have a website and are competing in the red ocean. Now, I'll explain what red ocean is in just a little while. They spend their time tweaking their website, their service offers, or the competition, but they do not look at differentiating themselves. They're not really adding value to their customers. They're probably just selling a commodity, even though in this world, yes, people might say, almost everything is a commodity. Not really. No, it isn't a commodity. If you choose to make your product or service a commodity, then yes, it becomes a commodity. If you choose to play at the bottom, then yes, it can be a commodity. But if you choose otherwise, then you can differentiate your brand. Okay. So they build a business without any systems in place that would create kind of brand recall. So they're virtually unrecognizable from the competition. Now, if you ask them that, they might say, no, of course not. We, you can differentiate us. Our logo is different. Our website looks different. Our product is different, they might believe. But is it really this case? You never know. In any case, we will look at, details of this as we go through this webinar. All right, mistake number 3 is not charging premium prices for their products or services. And that leads to, of course, price wars in the red ocean. They spend their time tweaking their prices and reacting to the competition. And, that's the way they think they're building their businesses. Now, most businesses are barely profitable to the low prices they're charging. And you know that without any profit, any business will shrivel up and die, especially when disaster strikes. So a big mistake is not charging premium prices or the right kind of prices. So if you do not create services with value, then you cannot charge premium prices. And this is what a lot of the businesses do. They do not add value to the customer beyond what the competition is offering. They're not creative in packaging value into their services. And most businesses sell their services like items on a food stall, simply labeled with prices and offering promotions and discounts to entice customers. And that's about it. They do not have a marketing system in place, a proper marketing system in place. They are not commanding premium prices, even for services that are valuable to their customers. They're always busy fighting price wars with the competition, in the red ocean, instead of defining their differentiation and targeting the right kind of customers. So, okay. So what are the realizations? It is critical to realize that to create something bigger, you have to build a brand. You have to build a marketing system that would bring customers to you and not you having to chase after them. You have to target the right kind of clients and command premium prices to build profit instead of simply revenue. Now, all these may seem like obvious things, but the funny thing is that most businesses do not focus on these things, or at least they think they're focusing on them, but are not really focusing on them. And I will show you when I share my strategies exactly how to focus on these things. So these realizations are very important, that you need to build a brand, not a business. You need to build a marketing system and not just marketing for the sake of marketing. You need to target the right people so you can command the right prices and not just a generic, blanket target kind of a thing, saying, yes, all small business owners are my target audience, or I don't know, all entrepreneurs are my target audience. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but that's how most businesses look at it. If you ask them what their target audience is, this is what they say. All right, moving on. Once you have these realizations, you need to focus on getting these right and go from that struggling state to hitting the first $1 million in revenue. Now, how do you do it? How do you create a successful blue ocean brand? You do that by becoming a brand builder. So over the years, I and my team at Spellbrand have come up with over 35 different strategies that enabled us to help brands dominate their markets. Today, I will share with you 3 fundamental strategies from that list. Strategy number 1, how to create a blue ocean brand that attracts the right audience. Of course, first, let us start off by defining what, red ocean and blue ocean strategies are. Now, these were introduced by W. Chan Kim, and I think it was Renee Mouburn in 2005. This is a marketing strategy concept. Now, a red ocean strategy involves competing in industries that are currently in existence. This often requires overcoming an intense level of competition and can often involve the commoditization of the industry, where companies are competing mainly on price. For this strategy, the key goals are to beat the competition and exploit existing demand. They are called red ocean because of the cutthroat competition leading to blood red waters. You see where I'm coming from. So that's why it's called the red ocean, because it's, too many competitors, and they're sharks, and a few little, too little fish, and the sharks are fighting each other. So the water is red with blood. Okay. I'll move on to the next one. So what is the blue ocean then? Blue ocean strategy. A blue ocean strategy is based on creating demand that is not currently in existence, rather than fighting over it with other companies or businesses. Of course, you must keep in mind that there is a deeper potential of the marketplace that hasn't been explored yet. Now, most blue ocean companies are created from within red ocean markets by expanding existing boundaries. Now, the key to a successful blue ocean strategy is finding the right market opportunity and making the competition irrelevant. Of course, the blue ocean is called the blue ocean because it's pristine and beautiful and full of opportunity. And you can see here, there's one hook, there's lots of fish, the water is blue, the competition is not killing each other, they're not, eating each other, there's no blood in the water. Now, this concept is very important. This concept is really important because if you want to go from zero, well, not zero, but wherever you're at, to $1 million. If you're already at $1 million, if you want to go to 10 million, this concept is fundamental. This concept is crucial. You need to operate in a blue ocean. You cannot hope to make $1 million in revenue in a year or two or whatever it is, if you're competing in a red ocean with blood in the water and trying to tweak your pricing, trying to lower it. Okay, I will give it for $10 less, or let's give it 10% discount. No, that's not going to work. That you may survive, barely so, And when there's a shift and at a huge killer shark comes in, of course, competition will be wiped out, but you may survive. So that's the importance of this blue ocean and red ocean strategies. So just to recap, okay, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because this is very, very critical. Red ocean competes in the market. It's about beating competitors. It's depending on existing demand, and it compromises between differentiation and low price. So you got to offer a low price. You cannot differentiate yourself. Blue ocean, on the other hand, you create new markets, even within the same market, and you make competitors obsolete. You capture new demand, and you can have both differentiation and command a premium price. Okay, so how to create a blue ocean brand? Now, you can create a blue ocean brand by using a set of strategies and tools. Now, please bear with me on these next few slides, which are theory-based and dense with text and jargon. I will try and simplify them a little later. So first tool is value innovation. By ensuring that your brand goes after both differentiation and low cost, which means that there is great value for both the brand and the customer. You see most businesses either go for differentiation or low cost and find it difficult to do both. But it can be done, as you will see later in this webinar. All right, the next one is called 4 Actions Framework. It's about figuring out which factors should be raised above the industry standards, which factors should be created that the industry does not offer, which factors should be reduced below the industry standard, and which factors should be eliminated, where the industry is competing on. So this is a framework that you can follow. Now, don't worry too much about this, okay? No need to take notes or anything. I'm just giving you context, a little bit of theory here. But don't worry, after I'm done with this theory, I will stop. I will go into full practical kind of descriptions, get into the ground and step by step take you on the journey on how to build this blue ocean brand. Then you have the 6 paths framework. This is also about, how you should strategically within the group look for, outside examples like strategy, or, you're looking at redefining the buyer group, or you're trying to maximize the service offering, and so on and so forth. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. There's one more called 3 tiers of non-customers. Again, this is about, focusing on stop focusing on the current segment and look at the next customers who are going to be the next customers, and so on and so forth. It's also, looking at customers who are refusing to come into your market, or you're looking at customers who are in an entirely different market. So these are the various tools that you find, and you can find these tools online. You can read up about them, and I urge you to do that. They are super useful. So once you have identified your blue ocean niche, or at least how to move away from the red ocean part of your market segment, this is about creating that brand strategy. This is an important factor to ensure brand success. This determines all the marketing and the campaigns that you'll be running down the line, and is very important to get right. Brand positioning strategy. Now, creating a brand strategy is quite an involved and detailed process, but it is worth it, believe me. Now, here on this slide, you can see the various sections of a robust brand positioning strategy. Now, you got 3 main sections. You got, it says PS, that's positioning strategy. Then you have the BS for brand strategy. And then you have the MS for messaging strategy. So there are 3 components, and each section has tasks that build on each other. By the end, you would have a brand that means something and that can connect emotionally with your target audience. Of course, that ensures success. Now, in this webinar, due to time constraints, I cannot go too detailed into all the sections and tasks. In fact, when we do this for a client, the process usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. So I will briefly look at just a few of them and quickly define what they are to get you started on the path. So, positioning strategy. Now, positioning is about defining how we will differentiate our offering and carve out a spot in the competitive landscape. So to speak, putting our stake in the ground and winning mind share in the market space. For example, Apple positioned themselves as a luxury experience company when the trend at that time was to focus on improving the hardware market positioning, which all the other computer makers were doing. They effectively created their blue ocean. So I know that's a cliched example, probably. Everyone talks about Apple and how successful they are, but it is a great example. It's about how they positioned themselves away from the red ocean of, cheaper hardware, cheaper computers, cheaper this, cheaper that, into luxury, where, each time they release a new Mac or iMac or MacBook Pro, it's more expensive than the previous one, and, so on and so forth. So that is exactly what positioning is. And positioning leads to blue ocean. Next is value proposition. Brand value proposition is a business or marketing statement that summarizes why a consumer should buy a product or use a service. This statement should convince a potential consumer that one particular product or service will add more value or better solve a problem than other similar offerings. If you're selling consulting services to clients, for example, what value are you adding to your clients that other similar businesses are not? That is the fundamental question. What is your value proposition? Not unique selling point. Now, unique selling point is a different thing altogether. This value proposition is not a marketing statement. It is not something that you're going to, put on your website or broadcast it to the internet. No, this is something internal. This is for you. This is for your team. This is for your brand. You need to question yourself. What kind of value are we providing to our customers? That is our value proposition. Next, purpose, mission, and brand DNA. Now, great companies have a purpose that people can feel passionate about. So your mission statement should speak to your ultimate purpose. It can incorporate the moral, ethical position of the company and your desired public image. Think big and think outrageous. When it comes to your mission, don't be afraid. All successful brands have missions that are world-changing. Are they changing the world? Oh yeah, you bet they are. But are they changing the world overnight? No, of course not. So don't be afraid to have a world-changing mission as a part of your brand DNA, as a purpose of your brand. It should have nothing to, well, not should, it may not have anything to do with your service or with your product, with your actual business, because that is not what it is. That's what I said. One of the fundamental mistakes is people are building businesses, not brands. You should be building a brand and not a business. And when I say that, of course, the business will build itself once you have the brand, the right brand. And for a brand to be successful, you need to have a mission, a world-changing mission, something that you stand for, something that your brand stands for. I mean, there is no shortcut here, guys, I'm telling you, and girls. There is no shortcut here. You got to sit down and think through this. And you will be tempted, of course, to come up with missions that relate to your business directly. Yeah, that may be good, but don't jump into it. Put them aside and start expanding your idea base. And at the end of the day, if your mission sounds world-changing, is going to change the world, and is still directly related to your service or product without sounding like a sales campaign, then go for it. Okay? Anyway, the reason I'm spending so much time on this slide is because this is critical. This is critical, critical, critical. Okay. Next is the brand's core essence. Now, it's the core essence in one single sentence to help guide positioning and messaging. Now, this is not to be confused with a tagline or slogan. This is an internal statement. This is an internal statement. This is, again, for you. This is like your mission statement. This is something about your essence. What is it? Now, look at this image here on this slide. Skate or die. Now, that's an essence. Yeah, it might sound like a tagline. It might sound like a slogan, but it is an essence. And I like this image because that is at the bottom of the skateboard. So most people won't see it, but that is the essence of this guy. Skate or die. There's nothing else. And that should be something what you should come up with for your brand essence. Okay. Next one, another critical one, is the brand promise. The promise you make to your target audience and the world is what makes or breaks your brand. It makes your brand when you have a strong promise on which you deliver on all fronts. And it breaks it when you fail to keep your promise. Now, what is a brand promise? A brand promise is not just delivering a product 100% or high quality or full service. No, those are not promises. Those are expected. Those are a given. I conduct a lot of strategy workshops, right? Both in New York, in London, a few other places, and or even when I work with clients when I'm creating their strategy. When I ask them, when I ask the question, what is your brand promise? What is the promise that your brand makes? Most of the time, I hear things like, well, we promise to provide the highest quality, or we promise to give you the best service we possibly can. Okay. On the surface, they sound like good promises, but if you think about it, what? So if your promise is that, then, and you're saying that's your selling point, and that's how you're different from others, are you telling me that other brands are promising, to deliver subpar products or subpar services, or, are they saying we won't work that hard? What is it? Do you see what I'm saying? So just simply, taking given things as selling positions or value propositions or promises, that is the problem with the state of our brands today, with the state of our businesses today, and why a lot of businesses are struggling, barely surviving, and not really creating any brand recall. That's because of this. So don't look at providing high quality as a promise or as a value proposition. No. It should go beyond that. It should go to the benefit that you're providing to your customers. Beyond that, how are you changing their life? How are you making their life better? And so on. Now, of course, I can't really analyze it too deeply here because I'm already running out of time and I don't want to bore you guys on this webinar. But I think this is a good starting point for you to start thinking about your, brand promise. And by the way, I've written a lot of articles on brand promise and value proposition on our website. So if you just go to spellbrand.com/blog, you'll find a ton of content there. All right. Let's look at brand story. Now, spend some time looking at all, current and past competitors to figure out, what not to do, going forward. That has to do with a story. Some are inspirational, while, others are tragic. In so many ways, building a brand is like telling a great story. At the heart of both crafts is the power to evoke emotions from the audience. So your brand story is the ongoing saga you tell your customers about who you are, what you believe in, what you have to offer. Now, it can take the shape of blog posts, videos, white papers. There's a lot you can do, but that is the story. Now, some people might be confused with brand story because a brand story can also be an origin story. For example, you have an origin story, okay? Like my origin story with Spellbrand is that, 1998, I started as a freelancer. Then I started a small graphic design firm, went online, and became relatively successful. Of course, I was in a red ocean, but I then our company got wiped out because Google changed its algorithm. And in 2012, I think 2013, we lost all our ranking, we lost all our traffic, we lost all our revenue. I had to let go of everyone. I was, almost near bankruptcy. Anyway, then I rose from the ashes and I sort of, tried to figure out strategies and so on and so forth. And by 2016, it's about a couple of years, I sort of course, launched Spellbrand, but I reached $1 million. Now that's my origin story. That's the story of how Spellbrand, but that is not our brand story. That is not what you find when you go online and see the various touch points of Spellbrand on social media. We never talk about that. I never talk about that. Well, now of course I am, and as I go through these webinars, I might be talking more about it. But That is not our brand story. That is my origin story. That is the origin story of Spellbrand. Our brand story is different. Our brand story is about educating business owners. That's one of our core values. And I don't mean it in a condescending way, but sharing knowledge. That's our brand story. And if you look at our Facebook, if you look at any of our social media channel, or even if you go to our website and our blog, we share so much information. It's unbelievable. That's our brand story. So think about what your brand story is. Okay. What is your brand story? Very important. Okay. So spend some time looking at all your current and past competitors to figure out what not to do going forward. Document the patterns that all your competitors are using in terms of their messaging, their websites, their offers, their services, and more. You need to provide value to your customers beyond just your service or product. This is very important. So this is your kind of homework, so to speak, to get on the path of building a blue ocean brand, a brand that's going to succeed. It's about looking at your competitors so that you know what not to do. You got to look at patterns. You got to look at their messaging and stay away from that. You got to provide value to your customers beyond just your service or product. All right, let's move quickly on to strategy number 2. How to create a brand identity that creates the right perception. So the first step was to create a brand strategy that aligns with and attracts the right target audience. The second step is to translate that brand strategy into a visual language that communicates the right message. So what is a brand identity system? When one thinks of a brand identity, most people think of the logo design. Now, of course, logo is one of the most important elements, but there are others that are equally as important and perhaps even more so. So in this section, we talk about the various elements of a brand identity and how they all come together to create the brand identity system that will help you dominate your competitors and your market segment. Now, for any robust brand identity system, there are 6 major brand assets. You got the primary brand logo, the secondary brand mark, color palette, typography, visual brand extensions. These are like official brand patterns or icons and things like that. And the brand tone. And this, of course, includes visual images and photo standards and all that in messaging and communications. So first is the primary brand mark. And this should be flexible enough to work across various different media and at all sizes. It should be easily reproducible. And of course, it should look awesome. It should be scalable. It should have solid colors where possible. It should be adaptable, memorable, unique, and should be on message. Please do not cheap out on your logo. Now, I don't say this because I run a brand agency. No, absolutely not. But because we believe in it. And that's why, of course, that's why we're running our agency. And that's why we're providing that service. If you remember back from, the mission statement and all that, what did I tell you? That we follow that at the Spellbrand too. If we provide value to our customers, we do that business. If we don't do that business. As simple as that. So do not cheap out on your brand identity. Invest in a good brand identity, because it is like the suit you wear to a meeting. It's got to be sharp. It's got to be on point. You cannot go shabbily dressed to a business deal. You cannot do that. Anyway, let's move on to brand asset 2. But before that, here is a quick example of even something like a Whey donut brand. Look at this. Look at the implementation. Look at the secondary mark. This is one of our clients, actually. We created this for one of our clients. And you can see that donut there. If it's a cookie box, then the logo can change into a cookie and still look like the logo. Or it can look like the donut. Or it can look like, see where I'm going with this? This is a well thought out brand identity. And that's what you need. Of course, if you're a consultant, you don't need an elaborate kind of brand identity like this. And it will be a waste of your time and money. But you still have to put some thought into your brand identity. Next, secondary brand marks. Now, in a noisy environment, how is your brand to stand out and thrive? This is where the secondary brand mark comes into play. It supports the primary brand mark and enhances the message funnel of the brand. It is used on touch points such as merchandising, marketing, collateral, social media campaigns, and all that. Look at this. again, a few examples. This is one of our clients. We created a secondary mark. You can see on that, and they have a different implementation of the logo as a sign. The logo, just the logo mark on the packaging, and so on. Again, another one of our clients where, we took the logo, and then this is the primary implementation on the t-shirt. You can see a pattern that they have, their employees wear. And then if you look at their menu, for example, the Thai spring rolls, Indian tikka, Japanese yakitori, they use the logo very cleverly. Well, we created that for them. And then on the left-hand side, you see how the food folklore, picking tails, this is a well thought out brand identity that we created for one of our clients. Okay, the next one is the color palette. Now, owning a color in your market segment should be one of the goals of your branding. You should own a color. If used strategically, you can own a color which your target audience comes to associate with your brand. At times, this can be so effective that just the color will remind people of your brand without the primary or the secondary brand marks visible. Yes, you can do it. You can brand it such a way that the color becomes, your calling card. Number 4 is typography. Now, types have personality, and you should try and identify typography that matches the personality of your brand. So where do you get the personality of your brand? You go back to your brand strategy. So once you complete the brand strategy exercise, you should have your brand personality. You should have the attributes and all that. You take those, and then you try and match fonts for them. You see how creating a brand strategy makes everything else fall into place? That's what I was saying. Okay, typography, different types evoke different feelings. For example, serif typefaces represent tradition, while sans serif, they stand for modernity. Some fonts look friendly, whilst others look corporate. Next are visual extensions. Now, these are elements that support and enhance the brand's visual experience. They could be things such as brand pattern, iconography. Having an official brand pattern that is used as a subtle part of the brand's visual makeup can go a long way in creating a high level of brand recall. Okay, last but not least, one of the most important brand assets is your brand tone. A brand tone can be simply stated as the personality of your brand. This is the impression or perception that you want your brand to convey when interacting with people. Let me take a sip of water, guys. I hope you're all there. You can still hear me. I was just taking a sip of water. Forgive the noise there. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now that you have a stunning brand identity, it is time to look at the perfect marketing system. So we're coming to the third strategy. How to create a marketing system that attracts high-ticket traffic on tap. Having a lot of traffic is meaningless if it is not the right kind of traffic. So the first step was to build a blue ocean brand. The second step was to create a brand identity that aligns with the target audience. Now, the third step is to create a laser-like focused marketing system to bring in the right kind of traffic. What you need is a perfect marketing system, one that runs like a well-oiled machine and mostly on autopilot. That is very critical because all successful brands have marketing systems that run on autopilot. And of course, I will show you how you can do that in the next few slides. Now, the best way to build a marketing system without spending a ton of money, at least at this stage, is to own the traffic. This is very important. The concept of owning the traffic. Now, what does that mean? What does owning a traffic mean? Well, let's say you're on Google. Let's say you depend on Google for all your traffic. You don't actually own the traffic. Google owns the traffic, and they're sending the traffic to you at their mercy. And if algorithm changes or their business policies change, your website could be bumped off the first page or the second page, wherever it is. It could be sent to oblivion. And this is exactly what happened to me. And if you heard my origin story, a few minutes back, that's what I was telling you about, in terms of how we got wiped out because we depended on Google for our traffic, for everything. Or maybe you're on Facebook. Now, Facebook is not as I don't know. Yeah, let me be blunt and say the word bad as Google traffic, because you do have a little bit of control there in terms of ownership, at least. But still, it depends on Facebook algorithm. If you've noticed, if you're running a Facebook business page, you might have noticed that, let's say you have 2,000 followers to your Facebook page, business page, right? And you post a message. A couple of days later, you look at it, that message, and you see that it's reached 34 people, 47 people, 129 people. So what's happening there? You have 2,000 followers, people who love your page, right? And yet only 37 were shown that or saw that page. That's because Google decides, of course, they have a reason for that. It's not always evil. It's because, people are posting thousands and thousands of messages every day, right? And they cannot show every single message from like, for example, you may like, I don't know, 35 different pages on Facebook, right? Sports pages, movies, and, all those. You might like Spellbrand page or whatever. Now imagine each one of those pages is posting 10 messages a day. If all those messages appear on your timeline, it's going to be chaos, right? It's going to be madness. So Facebook decides, what messages are displayed. And that is the algorithm. It depends on a lot of factors. Of course, I'm not going to go into all those factors now, but so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, same thing. So what does owning your traffic mean? Owning means that people who come to your business, who look at your business, who interact with your business, when they come to you, you sort of keep them in your database. That is owning the traffic. Now, the best way to own your traffic is to own your email list. Yes, I changed the slide. You might not have noticed it, but you see it changed to email list. And an email list is the most powerful marketing tool. It is better than organic Google traffic, referrals, or even affiliate programs. Now, I know this may not sound groundbreaking. Okay, email lists have been here forever. But the funny thing is that even to this day, 98% of businesses do not own a decent sized email list. Really, I'm not kidding. So how do you build an email list? Okay, you need the leads to come to you, of course. Let's first of all look at the lifeline of a lead. Okay, now you have three kinds of leads: hot, warm, and cold. Hot leads are people looking to buy a solution that you're selling. Okay, they're ready to buy. Warm leads are people who know they need a solution to their problem, but are not actively looking to solve their problem. And cold leads are people who may or may not know they have a problem and that there could be a solution to help them, make their lives easier or better. Now, these leads come to your ad bridge. Now, this could be your Facebook ad or even your Google organic traffic or your social media channels. So they come to your landing page, and this is where owning the traffic comes into play. If you don't have a kind of a funnel in place, then all that traffic just comes from Google and then goes back. You don't own it. You need new traffic again and again and again. Some of them may convert on your website, may not, but you don't know. You cannot reach out to them. So this is where owning the traffic comes in. The pre-frame wall, step 3 and step 4, that's where, they come to your landing page and they give you their information in return for something of value from you. And then, of course, you nurture those leads and then move them towards becoming paying customers. Okay, so that's the lifeline of a lead. And here is a simple lead generation funnel. Funnels are amazing, and you got to embrace them, okay? Here you see a very simple funnel. You get traffic from Google, Facebook, and Instagram. The traffic is sent to an opt-in page, which has a content offer, a high-value content offer. I'll explain all about it in the next few slides. Don't worry. I know it could be a little overwhelming. Of course, for people who already know what funnels are, who may have seen this, okay, this is a walk in the park. But if you haven't, just bear with me. I will explain everything in detail. Now, you need to offer something of high value to your audience in return for their email address. And if what you offer is truly valuable, it builds trust, and the audience would welcome emails from you. Of course, as long as they contain value and are not simply, spam emails, right? But remember, you need quality traffic coming to your landing page, not junk traffic. If you want to build an email list of potential customers, then the traffic quality is critical. And I'm going to show you screenshots of one of our funnels and how a very small list created so much revenue, okay? I will show you that in just a second. Now, how do you ensure quality traffic? Okay, how do you ensure quality traffic? Now, by carefully setting up Facebook AdWords and fine-tuning the targeting. It's hard to target traffic from Google, but with Facebook and Instagram, you can target very precisely. Okay, and you see the red box I put? That is where we're going to do the magic. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is a screenshot of one of our funnels. This is a free video masterclass that I run. It's, people come to this and they can sign up. You can't see it, but at the bottom of that is a name and email address. People sign up. And that's it. They get 8 emails, an email every day, and there's a video. And, they go to a page like this where they watch the video. There's notes below the video. There's lots of links. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the next lesson comes in 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. So this is our funnel. And I want to show you something. But before that, let me give you a small income disclaimer. I'm about to share some screenshots showing some revenue figures of our agency at Spellbrand. These figures contained herein are for showing you proof only. Okay, they're not to be relied on, interpreted, or construed as a warranty or guarantee by Mash Ponigala. That's me or Spellbrand. Okay, your earnings will depend on many factors, like individual skills and abilities, hours worked, market conditions, blah, blah, blah. This is the usual standard disclaimer. I got to do it. Any online webinar, before they show their income of revenue, they should show this. So I'm showing it to you. Okay. So this is a screenshot of our funnel. And this one I chose July in 2019, because it's one of our best months for this funnel. We made over $43,000 just from that funnel. Now you can see here on the right-hand side, the average cart value is $1,250. And we made this from only 486 leads, out of which only 35 converted. You can look at that. Look at the opt-ins, 486. So 1,900 people entered that landing page in July. Okay, not many, but like I said, we are not after tens of thousands of visitors. No. Our marketing is all very, very targeted. We are very careful with that. So about 2,000 people came, about 500 people converted. So 486 converted. That means they signed up for that 8 steps video funnel. And then out of that, 35 converted in July. What is that conversion? They were buying. That's 7.2%. And look at the value, $43,750. So you don't need thousands of leads, okay? Now here is another screenshot. This is off the funnel itself. And you can see the different steps on the left-hand side, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. They all run automatically. We don't do anything. Of course, I update it now and then. And of course, I try to keep the information very, very new and valuable. But it shows you the last 30 days, we made over $36,000. And of course, in case you're wondering what we sold, I will show you in the next screenshot. But you can see here, the last 30 days. Look at this. Look at the bottom of the screen. Day 0, 433 emails were sent and 2 sales, $2,500. Did you see that? And then day 1, only 1 sale, $1,250. But anyway, all those added together, $36,250, right? As you send emails and build a relationship, you can then either include subtle sales messages in your emails or send out sales emails now and then. This leads to people coming to your sales funnel. You can look at the sales funnel at the bottom of this. So on the top of this screen, you see the lead funnel that I showed you first. Then now you see the new sales funnel. So on the sales funnel, you have the sales page, the order page, and so on. Let me go close up so you can see better. Okay, look at this close up of the sales page. As you can see in this close up, people from emails come to the sales page and go to the order page. They are then shown an upsell, something related to the original product or service that the user may find appealing. Of course, if they refuse that, you can offer them a downsell or another upsell. This depends on the level of trust and rapport you have built with your email list. Okay, if you haven't built a relationship, then you cannot do this. So you need to build a blue ocean brand. That's what I was talking about. And you need to sort of have a mission and value proposition and all those things. Once you do that, this is how you generate sales on tap. Oh, yes. In case you're wondering, yes, there's also a traditional sales funnel that you should grow with organic search and Facebook AdWords, where the traffic comes in directly. This is for the hot buyers, those who know what they want and are actively searching for your product or service. And this is our funnel, which, this is a separate funnel. This is a separate sales page where people come for strategy services, and we do marketing and things like that. So we only sell our logo design and all that through that funnel. Okay, remember, target people who are looking for solutions. Okay, very important. Target people who are looking for solutions. Okay, do not target people who are looking for the cheapest service or product offer. Okay, do not use a scattered approach. Fine tune your buyer personas. Do not think in generic terms. Okay, leave that cheap blood waters, red oceans to giants such as Amazon or Walmart. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who the giant is in your industry, but leave the cheapest to them. Okay, you can never compete on price with someone who is bigger than you, because they can always undercut you. And it's a race to the bottom. There's no profit. Without profit, there's no investment into the brand. Without investment, there is no advertising. Without advertising, there is no growth. There is no reaching the $1 million or the $10 million or the $100 million. Okay, so for you in your market segment, always look for targeting high value customers, high ticket customers. Target, target, target. That is the key. That is how we make over $480,000 a year from one single funnel. And that is not even the sales funnel. It is a lead generation funnel. And of course, stick with me to the end of the webinar, and I will show you how you can get your hands on that exact copy of that funnel. All right? Stick with me. I'll try and speed this up a little bit. Okay, it is unbelievable how, simple this is. These 3 secrets are the cornerstones of building $1 million brand. Of course, there are other strategies, but this is how I took my brand agency from near bankruptcy to $1 million in under 2 years. And I replicate this success and routinely help my clients achieve. All right. Wow, we've covered a lot, haven't we? A lot of stuff. Now, based on what I've been through so far, let me ask you, don't you agree that with the right kind of a plan and focus and systems and strategies in place, anyone can build $1 million brand? I mean, can you see yourself rising from your current situation and creating a blue ocean brand by becoming a brand builder? And then, of course, doubling, tripling, or even, 10xing your revenues. Do you see yourself eventually building a brand that makes $1 million a year or more? Wow. Don't you agree with me?